Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome here if you're new. I am just Shawnee and today we're going to be watching TikTok scary stories. Let's get into it. Oh, before we do, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button and ring that bell so you'll be notified every time I post a video. Turn up.
I still get freaked out every time I tell this story. So it's 2014, I'm pregnant with my first kid and living with my husband at the time, and we were freaking broke and looking for a very cheap place to rent. I can't even remember who told us this house became available for rent, but turns out I ended up knowing the landlords and they were really great, so it was just the house that we had problems with. We lived there for about a little over a year, I would say. I knew a girl that had lived in this house like years before, rented it, and I had heard from a mutual friend that they did like a cleansing of the house. I also heard a rumor that the landlord had had the house cleansed with like burning of sage or whatever it is. Before we moved in, we painted the whole house because it was like this mauvey reddish color. While we were there painting, we found like a dead rose and like a fake skeleton in the closet, which was weird, but we went upstairs. There were padlocks on the outside of the bedroom doors, which was also strange, and dirty kid handprints all over the walls. The first night that we stayed there, we didn't have beds or any furniture or anything set up. We just stayed on an air mattress in the middle of the living room floor. And honestly, I wasn't scared to move in even after hearing those rumors. But the first night that we stayed there, in the middle of the night, something woke me up, and it was like a voice saying, "Miranda," in my ear super fast, and it bolted me out of the bed, and I did not sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I woke up and I had put a little decoration up that had an M on it for my name, and in the middle of the night, somehow that fell off and broke. It gets worse. A few weeks go by, we have all of the furniture put in, the nursery was all done, and then came the flies. And I'm not talking a couple of flies here and there. Hundreds of flies. And you never saw them flying, ever. They would just be dead. Every time I went into that room, there were more dead flies. I would vacuum and vacuum and vacuum. Hundreds of flies everywhere. All over the floor, all over the furniture, in the bed, on the, everywhere. The landlord came out, checked, could not figure out where the flies were coming from. Also, they were just in this one room. So we did not put my son in there once he was born. We just put his crib in our bedroom and then had him in there for about 6 months, I guess, before we ended up moving our bedroom downstairs into another bedroom. Not sure why we did that. Can't remember exactly why. So about 6 months later, he was about a year old at this point. My husband was out of town. This was the first time he'd went out of town since we lived there. And of course, the first night that he was gone, something crazy happened that I will never forget, that still gives me cold chills. We had a TV set up in that room. We had never turned this TV on. We never used it. We did not have a remote for it. You can guess what happened. The TV turned on in the middle of the night. Blue screen, playing creepy piano, like funeral home, creepy music. I was completely frozen at this point, like could not move. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning, which also freaked me out. The baby did not wake up. I sat there for a good 5 minutes before I could get up to push the button on the TV to turn it off. That freaked me out so bad. I was completely frozen. But then I hear a large man, a large person, upstairs walking with big boots, heavy footsteps all across the room. It was in the middle of the night, and I almost got this baby out of the bed and took him to our family's house. My husband was out of town. Our family lived about an hour away. So it was a really hard decision, but I just went back to bed, and we moved out very shortly after that.
I couldn't focus because after she started talking about this ghost or whatever experience, her sync was off. Like, it's not ironic. It's not a coincidence. Her sync, her lips wasn't matching the words, and I don't know if he was paying attention. I don't know if she had a filter on, but she started glitching. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, but I noticed that on my side, and I could not pay attention to the story because there was just so much going on that side, on her side. Whoa. we have heard these instances, like all these signs. We've heard about the dead flies. We heard about the little dirty handprints on the walls. We heard about stuff just cutting on by itself. We haven't heard about the creepy piano. No, yes, we have, because we talked about this when that person went upstairs to that restaurant and heard that woman singing. And the construction guy was like, there was no woman singing. What are you talking about? Even though he knew. We've heard about that, with that musical part, the creepy musical part. We've heard about the man with the heavy boots walking, pacing. We've heard about all these things. So you had all the signs. And I'm so glad that you got up out of there. It was me. It would have been that same night. I don't care how far my family lives. We're going there. We're out of that house. I'm never coming back. Ah, that's cute. Ooh, I'm not going back to even pack up my stuff. You better hire some movers, because I'm not going back in there. Not with me and my baby. You stop. You wilding out. So yeah, we've heard about that when the husband's off at work and the woman's still there with the kid. You heard all of that. So glad you took notice and moved up out there, because it's like, why the place cheap? You know, why the place cheap? It's cheap for a reason, especially if it's nice.
So y'all, I have COVID, so you're gonna get a lot of content today. Okay? By the way, I don't look like this. They have a filter on here that makes me look 100% better, but I've been battling with COVID, so like I said, you're about to get a lot of content. So first, I am going to talk about how I have the ability to see certain things. My first story is about when I rented this house, and it was a house from 1974. It was built. I don't know what it is, but whatever house I'm at, I just can see things. So I am literally one night laying down in the bed. All of a sudden, I hear these footsteps. The footsteps of running. I've always heard running in this house. Always heard someone running from the back. And this house had a very long hallway. It was like one of those, I guess, it wasn't a shotgun house, but pretty much it's those houses where you could look all the way down and you could see the living room. So it was about 4 bedrooms. So my bedroom was the master bedroom, which was all the way on the end. I would always hear footsteps of somebody running from all the way to the living room, all the way up to the master bedroom. So one night I was asleep, right? My husband, for some reason, did not like sleeping on the outside of the bed. So I would sleep out there. And I don't know why we slept with the door open this night. We never sleep with the door open. So, of course, we slept with the door open that night. When I tell you, I heard the footsteps of this child. It was a little white boy. Little pretty little white boy. Had on these clothes. It looked like to me that his clothes were from the 70s. He had on, and I kid you not, he had on a blue hat and a rainbow like coat. And the coat had it was those coats from the 70s. I'm telling you, he looked like he was from the 70s. Like you could see like the block coat, and you could see his hair was shaggy up under the coat. He couldn't have been no more than about 5 or 6. This baby was running, and he literally came to my face, smiled, and then disappeared. That was like literally my first inkling in that house that something was weird going on. My cats did not like going downstairs, and that black cat that just left, she hated going downstairs. We had like I forgot what you call it, a dumbwaiter or something. We had like a dumbwaiter in the house. And when I tell you, she would every time like we would go to that dumbwaiter, she would run from it. But I'm telling you that we would hear footsteps downstairs, we would hear like, and the little boy would run every night. I would hear that every night. The little boy would run from that living room all the way to my bedroom. And that was definitely some of the stuff that we used to experience in that house. But that's just one house. Another time I'll tell you, I had rented a house, and the house actually sat all the way down at the bottom of the cul-de-sac. There was only 3 houses down there. The houses, like how the cul-de-sac would be, you would come into the cul-de-sac and you would literally wind down to the bottom of the cul-de-sac. So this particular time, when I had lost my house. This was in 2008. So we had to hurry up and move to another house. So in it was about around 2008, we had moved into this house. It was a great deal, of course. The guy had just fixed up this house, and it was like one of those 1-floor houses. It almost looked like a double wide to me. But I had a beagle hound dog at the time. And so all the time, like my beagle hound, I had just got this beagle hound off of a farm. Like it was a baby. It would cry all night every time I would put this dog into the kitchen. And so I didn't know why this dog was crying and crying all night. I mean, it was a baby, so I just figured that it just needed to be in the room with me. So therefore, I would go in there, I would get the beagle hound, put the beagle hound in the room with me. And just so happened one night, I could not, like, I was so dry in my throat. I was like, let me go to the kitchen and get something to drink. I get up, go to the kitchen, and I see this whole outline of this man. Big old tall, he had to be about 6'4". He was a white man with, his hair was like cut. He had a mustache, kind of looked like Tom Selleck, if you know what Tom Selleck was back, Magnum P.I. But he had this real like shaggy kind of hair. He points to the drawer, I goes over to the drawer and I pulls out this man's driver's license from the drawer. Okay. I look at the driver's license, and it's the same man that I see standing in my kitchen. He totally dissipates in front of me. I immediately was like, you know what? One of my experiences, okay, yeah, this guy basically wanted me to know he was there. And he wasn't a bad spirit. To me, he protected us, I'll tell you another time that he came to me. Right before, I don't know if you guys remember in 2009 when Georgia had bad floods. But he told me basically I had saw him again in the actual kitchen. And this man never moved his mouth. I was dreaming, you know what I mean? He never moved his mouth. And he was telling me in my mind that I need to get out that house, right? And I was like, why I got to get out this house? I was like, I had the urgency to leave this house. I got to get out of this house. I got to get out of this house. And so all of a sudden I told my mother, I was like, Mom, we got to move. I don't know what it is. We got to move. I was like, we got to get out of here. And so she was like, well, then, we've been here a couple of years at that time. And I was like, yeah, but something telling me that we have to move, right? So we literally moved from there over into, it's called Sandy Springs. We moved to Sandy Springs. And I have found this townhouse or what have you, and had put my kids in another school. And can I tell you, it was about in 2009, I had looked on TV and bet I seen that house up underwater. The whole subdivision was underwater because remember I told you when you come in, you had to go all the way down to that cul-de-sac. And all the way down to that cul-de-sac was that house underwater. Underwater. Can you imagine me having children and that man showed himself to me and told me I had to get out the house in 2009? I swear, Austell, Georgia. That man who I pulled his license out told me to leave that house. Believe me or not, that's just some of the experiences that I have. Bye.
Girl, that was, yes, love that story of the little boy. Ooh, ooh, honey, what? Little kids are scary, bro. That little kid ran up into my face. Oh, I would have committed child abuse. I'm sorry, because I would have swung. Because I would have been so scared. I would have been so scared. It would have been my first reaction, fight or flight. I would have fought, bro. I would have fought. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Let's be honest, honey. Because what? I would have been gone. That first night, I would have been gone. Like when she was telling that story, when the cat realized what story it was, the cat turned around and looked at the camera like, oh, this bitch. She about to tell this story. She about to tell who? First of all, who she talking to? Who's she telling this story? And the moment she said the ending part, the cat was like, phew. She was like, my cat didn't like it. I see. It was that cat that did not like that story. Did not like experience that cat knew was up in there. That cat knew. Girl, what? That was too much. That story was too much. And then you seeing, and I had a puppy like that, and that's why my puppy was so spoiled, because I always, like, it would sleep on the couch. It would sleep on the couch, not in this cage, on the couch when we first got my puppy, and I would sleep on the couch with her. I was so spoiled. I spoiled the crap out of that kid. That's why that baby was so bad, just bad as I'll get up, just bad. So yeah, when you told me, when she was talking about, yeah, I went to the kitchen and saw this whole outline of this person. You braver than me. I don't know what I would have did. I would have fought. We know what I would have did. I would have fought. But the fact that she stayed calm, it went to the drawer. Like, what are we doing? We playing Simon Says right now. We're playing Simon Says. Why are we going to the drawer? Why are we going? But I guess in her situation, it's good that she went to the drawer and seeing what was in there and was like, oh, okay, this is you. Oh yeah, this is you. Like, I don't even know. I don't know how I would have responded. I would have been like, oh my gosh, this is you. I see the date that you were born. I know what the date is now. And you still look like this from this. Oh, that would have just been a mind fuck. Like, but I'm glad she was there in that moment and she listened, and he was just looking out for her and her family and was like, hey, I know what's about to come. You need to get up out of here because I actually like you and I don't want you to be unalive. So I love that. Love that she listened and got herself out that situation. But honey, follow all these creators because they have some stories, honey. Because when she was saying, I was just like, oh no. It could have been me, Fred. What is up with all these videos lately? There's so much going on in their background. It's just like, what was that noise? Y'all ain't explaining what these noises are. Because usually they'd be like, oh yeah, that was my cat. Oh yeah, this was this. No. I need you to explain every sound. Because you already know I'm on the paranoid right now. Like, I'm just like, ooh, this ain't my norm, y'all. That's why we watching these scary stories together.
Okay, now this is my paranormal story. So when I was about 14 years old, my parents took me on a vacation with them to a place called Cape May, New Jersey. It's a very old, historic town with beautiful Victorian homes, and it's very known for being very haunted. We didn't stay in a Victorian. We wound up staying in, like, I don't know, like one of the more modern hotels, but my mom wanted to tour one of the most famous bed and breakfasts in Cape May called Angel of the Sea. So we went in and they were very nice, and they said, of course, there's an open room that you can go up and take a look at. And they told us the room number. And so me being like an excited 14-year-old, I raced up the stairs ahead of my parents and I got into the room first. And when I got in the room, I felt this very heavy, that's the only way I can explain it, a very heavy type of atmosphere. I felt like I was being watched and all the hair on the back of my neck went up. For some reason, my mom wanted to take a picture in the room. I have no idea where the picture is, but I remember her saying she thought she saw a haze in the picture, but I couldn't even tell you where the pictures are from that trip. But a few months later, I was watching the Travel Channel, and again, it was the 90s, so I don't even remember the name of the show it was on, and they were doing like a special on, I guess, like haunted bed and breakfast or something like that. And they started to talk about the Angel of the Sea bed and breakfast in Cape May, New Jersey. And they told a story about this one girl who, at a period of time, the buildings were used as a dorm because the bed and breakfast consists of two like twin buildings. And the buildings were used as a dorm, and they had a curfew. And so there was this girl trying to come in late after her curfew was over, and she fell off the fire escape to her death. The thing is, the room that she was staying in, that she fell from, was the room that I had gone up to and felt that heavy presence in. If you ever visit Cape May, New Jersey, go to the Angel of the Sea. They'll give you a tour. They'll tell you which room number it is, because I don't remember what number it was, but you'll probably feel that feeling too.
Girl, we ain't visiting nowhere haunted. Stop. We did that in college. We're not doing it now. I don't know. I don't know if I would. Because you know I'm going to go with some black people. And they're going to be like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell, you don't have black people. Oh, when they scared. Any bump, they're going to run. Be like, oh, that was me. I hit my toe. So, yeah, no, friend. I'm going to just take y'all word for it. Y'all go. And come back and tell me, you felt it? You felt it? Okay. Subscribe.